Where do you turn to for the latest breaking news on tech?
Greetings, seekers of digital enchantment. I am the Techno Wizard, your guide through the arcane realms of technology and science.
Technology is taking over.
Prepare to delve into the latest mystical marvels and electronic wonders as we uncover the ultimate innovations of our age.
Like, seriously, who has time for all this buzzing garbage anyways?
Join me as we conjure up the latest tech news and explore new discoveries that will make even the most seasoned sorcerer marvel.
How do you stay up to date on the gizmos and gadgets of the 21st century?
All this and more today on the Techno Wizard Podcast.
The Techno Wizard Podcast.
Greetings and salutations to all of my friends, family, and all of the common folk out in the realm. I am Jay Warzinski, the Techno Wizard.
The Techno Wizard?
Back again with a rather topical thought analysis on the current trend of artificial intelligence. And just exactly what the heck is it doing out there? We've got people losing jobs, people rioting in the digital streets, and now people are considering how we can all become rich off of AI? Truly a wacky set for you today, folks. And our ever-diminishing sense of control seems to be shrinking at an escalated rate, but you don't have to lose any of your internet security control with today's sponsor, NordVPN.
NordVPN.
Alright, now that the bills have been paid, and I can once again afford my child's addiction for deluxe Fortnite skins, let us jump right into the first topic of today's conjuring.
But the topic of discussion is that I just lost my job, and I lost it to AI, which is very unfortunate. I think many people joke about the fact that, AI is going to take all our jobs and we're all going to get replaced, and especially within my industry, which is graphic design.
Nade Straight, a UK graphics designer with years of experience and multiple high-class projects under his belt. He had tenure, seniority, and was admired by his coworkers and supervisors alike. That was all before he got replaced by an AI program that uses his own custom-designed graphics templates to do his job in a quarter of the time, while he's left in the unemployment line looking for new work.
My job, I've been a graphic designer for the past 8 years of my life, and I've worked at this specific company for 6 years. You would think that being one of the longest running employees, being there 6 years, having a wage increase almost every year and being very much valued because I was the only graphic designer left, you'd think they want to keep me on as much as possible.
Here's the rub as far as I see it. With times of great innovation, and during times of escalating revolution, there are often great shifts and major upheavals that will happen, not just to the common folk, but to the high lords and to the kings and the queens of all the lands as well. We've seen many times before throughout history that people have had to drop what they've been doing and shift and evolve into something better.
And then I did a bit of digging, asked a few people, and it turns out basically all of the material that I've provided over the past 6 years is now being fed to AI and templated. So a design that would take me 30 minutes now takes AI 30 seconds, as it's been trained on all my templates. Essentially, I think it just literally reuses my templates, and then they can input the hex codes they want the email or the website design to be, drag and drop in the client's logo, upload the client's font, and boom, it will generate my template, but using their brand assets. And I thought, it makes sense from a business point of view, but it's extremely scummy. It puts me out of a job.
And he is absolutely right. It is scummy. Absolutely scummy. In a time when we should be helping each other out and standing up for one another more than any other time in human history, and his greedy corporate overlords are doing what we've seen the nobility and the aristocrats do time and time again. Friends, it's time. It's time for us to recognize our faults. It's time to recognize our limitations. It's time to look at the man in the mirror and recognize that we cannot do it all, we cannot grasp it all, we cannot achieve it all. But that does not mean that we should just simply give up. It does not mean that we shouldn't help ourselves or help others. What that company did is they let that man down. And there will be more casualties of this innovations too. There will be more upheaval. There will be more unrest. And if the high lords and the aristocrats and all of the wonderful people hiding up in their keeps and their fortresses and their castles, if they want to see riots in the street, if they want pitchforks and torches at their door, then friends, this is how they get them. But that is not what I'm here to talk about today. We need to recognize that we too are powerful, and we too have magic spells that we can cast and conjure. We need to be able to evolve and adapt. We need to be able to constantly struggle and strive and do better and better.
If you're a graphic designer watching this as well, man, I highly, highly recommend learning some new skills while you can. And don't ever template things. Don't provide the company you work for the templates. Claim your work takes longer than it does, so that you can have time to yourself to look into other jobs maybe. Do whatever you can and rinse the company you work for. Because, you know, at the end of the day, companies don't owe you anything. They're not obligated to keep you. If they find a way to get rid of you and replace you with AI, they will do. Don't ever feel obligated to provide a company what it needs. Give them the bare minimum and, you know, that's it. Focus on yourself.
Made Straight, unfortunately, had to suffer for all of us to learn. But since the posting of his original video, he has mentioned in other posts and in other forums amongst his social media that he's been offered job offers, he's been given professional advice, and a lot of people have come out of the woodwork to really help him and support him since his original post about him losing his job. And this is exactly what we need, folks. We need to come together, and we need to help each other. There's no more of this apathy. There's no more time for people to just ponder amongst themselves. We need to be able to come together as a community, come together as a group, and help each other out, even when the robots show up to take over our jobs.
Well, hark ye, noble knights and fair maidens, tired of the same old feast. Brave the flames and join us down here at Dragon Wings, where the barbecue is so legendary, you might just set your taste buds ablaze. We've got dragon-sized portions and flavors fit for royalty, all cooked over a fire so fierce, even the knights of yore would trade their swords for our sauce. So saddle up, head on down to Dragon Wings, where everybody's a quest for flavor. Because here, the only thing hotter than our wings is our fiery medieval hospitality. Dragon Wings, where the dragon's breath meets your barbecue dreams. Yeehaw!
A Scottish artist has painted over some of his artwork in protest against what he says are negative impacts of artificial intelligence on art. The Black Isle-based pop artist Michael Forbes has said AI was saturating the internet with images and also harvesting artists' work to create new pictures without any acknowledgement of the source material. Forbes, who has redacted parts of 4 paintings so far, has said, "Underneath the black paint is hours of work I am proud of, and in some respects, I am absolutely heartbroken." The 4 paintings, including one of the Beatles' John Lennon and another featuring U.S. singer Taylor Swift, Forbes said he admired Swift because of her battles over ownership of her music. Weeks of work had been painted over in black paint. Forbes said he was driven to make the protest after a fellow artist said she had stopped sharing her art on social media because of problems with AI. He said other artists were giving up their careers because they felt they could no longer compete against the computer-generated images. I think one of the most powerful values of being a human, being a part of humanity, is our need to defy, our need to resist, our desire and want to push back when something tries to take us out. We are fighters. We do not just go quietly into the night. We have to let our voices be heard. We have to stand up and say, no, this is not right. But unfortunately, we're not always successful. And we don't always win every battle. I am aware that what I have done is small potatoes, said Forbes. It is going to have minimal, if no, effect whatsoever, other than a cathartic feeling that I'm being proactive and trying to do something about it. He added, I don't want to be an artist so I can paint the best pictures I can and then paint them over in black paint. I'm gutted I've been reduced to this. In my studies amongst the ancient arts and scrying over the mystical scrolls of magic and the ether, I have made an observation about my fellow kin, and it is this. It is very often and very easy for us to point out the problems that persist. We can sit there and stare at the mountain that gets in our path, and we can point it out. We can notice it. There it is. There's that problem. But oftentimes, the real struggle, the real trick, the real difference between a success and just another complainer is not simply acknowledging and noticing the problem, but it's finding the solution. Figuring out a workaround, delving and discovering a path through that allows us to continue on. Forbes said he had embraced the internet since its early days, and it had allowed him to reach galleries all around the world. But more recently, he said he was now only sharing parts of paintings on social media and inviting people to come see the fully finished pieces in person at exhibitions only. Now, folks, I recognize that this might come off as just another depressing read on today's show, and I do apologize for that. I do not mean to convey a sense of melancholy and doom and disaster. But what I will say is that this man is continuing to push forward. While he resists, while he struggles, and while he defies the odds, he also seeks solutions. He looks for alternatives. He does not take it lying down. And that's the message I want people to walk away with. It's not enough to simply raise your fist and say no. You have to continue fighting. You have to continue innovating. You are the master. You are the scry of the ancient scrolls. You are the conjurer of the arts. It is up to you to develop and design new spells, new powers. Do not simply take this lying down. Do not allow the dark powers that be to invade the realm and take everything over. Everything that we hold dear, everything that we once loved. Don't allow these things to transgress without first beating your chest, saying no, and standing up against them. Fight back, brothers. fight back.
Hey there, spellcasters and wand wavers. Are you ready to supercharge your magical mojo? Zoom over to Zippy's Wand Store, where the spell scrolls are sizzling and the wands are wilder than ever. That's right, folks. Our spell scrolls are so potent, they practically cast themselves. Want a fireball to light up your enemies, or teleportation spell to get you out of traffic? We got you covered! And our wands? They're faster than you can say abracadabra, and more mystical than a unicorn on roller skates. Hurry down to Zippy's Wand Store now, before our stock magically vanishes. Don't miss out on our spells of your dreams and wands of wonder. Zippy's Wand Store, where magic meets mania.
Artificial intelligence is already making people rich. Jensen Huang, the co-founder and CEO of chip company NVIDIA, which controls 80% of the data center AI chip market, has seen his net worth explode from a mere $4 billion 5 years ago to a staggering $83.1 billion as of March 24th, on the back of bottomless demand for his company's product. ChatGPT maker OpenAI is reportedly valued at $86 billion, with rivals Anthropic and Infection at $15 billion and $4 billion respectively, as of their most recent funding rounds. While OpenAI CEO Sam Altman says he owns no share in the company, it's possible, even likely, that other AI founders and execs have joined the 3 commas club by now, at least on paper. But some researchers think this is only the beginning, that AI won't just make a few techies wildly rich, the way social networking, smartphones, and personal computers did before. Believers in a growth explosion argue that AI is set to make society much, much richer by causing economic growth at a scale it has never experienced before. In 2020, the AI researcher Ajaya Korta at grantmaker Open Philanthropy released a report arguing that AI, powerful enough to drive a surge in economic growth from 20 to 30% a year, is coming, and more likely will probably not emerge before 2100. The following year, her colleague Tom Davidson conducted a more in-depth investigation of the potential for AI to supercharge growth, and concluded that per capita economic growth rates as high as 30% a year resulting from AI are plausible this century. This is an extremely big if true claim. Since good record keeping began shortly after World War II, the U.S. has averaged 3.2% economic growth per year. Since 2000, growth has been a bit more anemic, averaging at about 2.2%. Per capita growth has been lower still. Nowhere before in history, not in England during the Industrial Revolution, not in Japan during its income doubling period of the 1960s, not in China in recent decades, has sustained growth on a scale of 20 to 30% per year ever happened. To put that number into perspective, 30% growth implies that the economy would double in size every 2.5 years. It gets even more impressive when you take a longer view. Northwestern economist Ben Jones has noted the typical American today is about 100 times richer than humans were when economic growth began, and we were all living at the edge of starvation. In a system of 30% growth per capita, in 25 years, we'd be 1,000 times richer than we are now. Imagine everything humans have achieved since the days when we lived in caves. Wheels, writing, bronze and iron smelting, pyramids, the Great Wall, ocean traversing ships, mechanical reaping, railroads, telegraphy, electricity, photography, film, recorded music, laundry machines, television, the internet, cell phones. Now imagine accomplishing 10 times all of that in just a quarter of a century. This is a very, very, very strange world we're contemplating. It's strange enough that it's fair to wonder whether it's even possible. Personally, 30% growth is so far outside human experience to date that even I have trouble imagining what it might look like. AI could be just another useful technology, akin to the washing machine. In this view, it makes our lives a little better, like most technological improvements. But AI could also be something else entirely that would upend the assumptions we've used to understand the world around us for centuries. Now, this last article that we have read today, How AI Could Explode the Economy, by Dylan Matthews from Vox. I decided on this one I just wanted to read the whole thing out before I interjected my opinion. You could obviously tell there's a sense of enthusiasm in my voice when I read off an article like this. And I think there's an important takeaway to be had in all of this. It's very easy to get into the hype. It's very easy to build up enthusiasm and awe and wonder over mystical brand new technologies that we've never really seen or faced before. It's in everyone's best interest to always practice cautious optimism. Obviously, we've seen, especially in recent times, what getting sucked up into the hype can do. We've seen the crypto bros, we've seen cryptocurrency, we've seen Bitcoin boom and bust, we've seen people become billionaires overnight, and we've seen people lose financial fortunes in an instant. Cautious optimism, folks. Cautious optimism. Believe in the future. Believe in good. Believe in a brighter tomorrow. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having hope. But you need to be cautious. You need to stop. You need to slow down your breathing. You need to think. You need to ponder. Take a page from my fellow wizards. We do not simply start scrying runes of power on the door the second we are met with any type of adversity. We stop. We study. We write in our ancient codexes. We take our notes. We observe the world around us. I strongly recommend we all do the same when it comes to this AI technology. It's brand new. It's flashy. It's exciting. Lots of people are buzzing around and screaming about it and losing their minds over it. And, at least as opposed to NFTs, at least we're getting something out of it so far. But I caution everyone, please, please, please think before you act. Think before you act. Consider the possibilities, the ramifications, the consequences of choice. Your choices matter. What you decide today matters. You have the capability and the power to change this world, and it's all in your choice. Remember that, folks. What you choose today, what you choose here and now, can affect the world and the future forever. Okay, folks. That's a wrap on today's spellbinding episode of the Techno Wizard Podcast.
The Techno Wizard Podcast.
I'm Jay Wierzinski, your all-powerful techno wizard, casting spells on tech's latest marvels and mysteries. Remember, whether it's coding conjurations or gadget enhancements, stay tuned and stay magical. Until next time, keep your circuits charged and your wands at the ready.
The Techno Wizard Podcast.